So what if I told you that you could plant something once, and it could feed your family for the rest of your life, and your kids' lives, and even their kids' lives? It sounds kind of crazy, right? Well, today we're going to talk about the powerhouse foods you can plant right now that your great-grandchildren will be able to harvest. Let's get into it.
I mean, think about it. Every spring, it's the same old routine, isn't it? You're out there planting, watering, weeding. Come fall, you get your harvest. And then the next year, you do it all over again. You're basically trading your labor for food on a 12-month cycle that just never ends.
And this right here really shows the difference. On one side, you've got what we call the annual treadmill. Sure, it works for one season. But on the other side, you have the tree legacy. Now, this is a totally different mindset. It's an investment. You plant it once, and it can literally feed your family for generations. We're talking about a real legacy.
You've probably heard this saying before, but man, does it hit home here. Every single year you wait to plant these kinds of trees is a year of future harvests just gone. Look, you can't go back in time, but you absolutely can start today. The second best time is right now.
Okay, so without a little bit of urgency on our minds, let's get practical. We're going to count down the 8 absolute powerhouse trees that can build a food production system your great-grandchildren will be thanking you for.
Kicking off our list at number 8 is the mulberry. You know, this is kind of the forgotten fruit. Grocery stores can't really sell them because they're just too delicate, but a mature tree, it pumps out 50 to 80 pounds of fruit a year. And here's the real kicker. It requires pretty much zero maintenance. You just plant it, walk away, and it'll produce delicious fruit for over 50 years. Amazing.
All right, coming in at number 7, the hazelnut. Now, fruit is great, don't get me wrong, but calories and fat are what keep you going when things get tough. Hazelnuts are incredibly dense. We're talking 2,800 calories per pound. And the best part, they'll store for over a year in the shell, no fridge required. This is shelf-stable, high-energy food you can truly rely on.
At number 6, we've got the fig. You know, there's a reason figs show up in ancient texts as a symbol of prosperity. They are just outrageously productive. A single tree can give you over 100, sometimes 200 pounds of fruit a year. And they thrive in heat and drought that would kill most other trees. For thousands of years, dried figs literally meant survival.
Number 5 is a tree you definitely know, the apple. But hey, don't underestimate it. A single mature tree can produce a staggering 200 to 400 pounds of fruit. Its real superpower, though, storage and cold hardiness. Long before refrigeration, apples were one of the only fruits that could provide crucial nutrition all the way through those harsh northern winters. That right there is real food security.
And at number 4, we have the ultimate survivor, the carob tree. It produces these pods that taste remarkably like chocolate, and get this, it thrives in extreme heat and drought. A single tree can yield 200 to 400 pounds of these pods, and they'll store for over 3 years with zero processing. In a warming world, a tree like this is an absolute game changer.
Cracking our top 3 is the chestnut. And here's the crucial thing to understand. Chestnuts are nutritionally more like a grain than a nut. They're high in carbs, low in fat. For centuries in Europe, chestnut flour was the staple food that fed entire regions, especially when the grain crops failed. So you're not just planting a nut here, you're planting a source of bread that can live for over 300 years.
At number 2, the walnut tree. This one offers a dual legacy. First, you get 50 to 80 pounds a year of these high-fat, super nutrient-dense nuts that solve one of the biggest problems in a food crisis, getting healthy fats. But second, a mature walnut tree is also incredibly valuable timber, so it's food security and financial security all growing in one spot. And our number 1 legacy tree is the oak. Now, this might surprise you, but acorns were the foundation of diets for entire civilizations across the globe. A single mature oak can produce over 500, sometimes even 1,000 pounds of acorns a year. At 2,000 calories per pound, the sheer caloric output is just unmatched by anything else on this list. It is the ultimate food security system, bar none.
Okay, so we've seen this incredible list of trees, but now for the most important part. How do you actually get one in the ground? Well, it's way simpler than you might think to start creating your own legacy. Let's walk through the action plan.
So here's your 5-step plan. Super simple. First, pick a tree that actually works for your climate zone, and we'll get to that in just a second. Then, find a nice sunny spot with good drainage. Dig a hole that's about twice as wide as the root ball to give it some room to spread out. Plant it, fill the soil back in, and give it a really deep watering. And this last one is crucial. Protect that little sapling from deer for the first couple of years. And that's pretty much it.
And this chart here makes choosing the right tree a piece of cake. If you're in a colder, more temperate zone, you're going to want to focus on apples and hazelnuts. Want the quickest fruit? Look at figs and mulberries. They can start producing in just a few short years. For those hot, dry climates, carob and figs are your drought-proof champions. And for that ultimate, long-term legacy in most temperate zones, it's all about the oak and the chestnut.
And you know, this is the key takeaway from all of this. It's not about choosing between an annual garden and a tree. It's about building a layered system. Your annuals feed you this year, berry bushes will feed you in a few years. But the trees, they feed you, your kids, and your grandkids for the next century. That is what true resilience looks like.
Just think about that for a second. Imagine if your grandparents had planted these trees. You could be harvesting that food security right now. This is your chance. You can be that ancestor, the one who provides for generations to come.
So it all comes down to this final question, and it's one that only you can answer. Looking at everything we've talked about, knowing what's possible, what legacy are you going to choose to plant?
Hey, if this explainer shifted how you think about food security and long-term planning, do me a favor and hit that like button. And subscribe to join a whole community of people who are focused on building systems that last for generations, not just for a single season. Thanks for watching.